Holden and welcome to a very special edition of the Music Mash. Wasn't that the most harmonious intro you've ever seen to a show as well? Right, forget your South by Southwest festivals. Forget your Great Escapes in Brighton. We are here at Norwich Sound and Vision 2015, one of the country's hottest in the city industry showcases. Of course, tonight we are right here at the Arts Centre, but we will be jumping from venue to venue over the next 45 minutes to give you a great peek at what the festival has to offer. If you want to see what's coming up in tonight's show, take a look at this. We'll be seeing how Sonic Youths are helping you up-and-coming artists in Norfolk. We talk to people about post-punk and its impact on the music scene. And we take a look at women in music. But before all that, it's a songwriter that many people may be familiar with. It's complex, dark, but incredibly endearing. Let's take a flight with Pete Murdoch and his Birds of Hell.
My son came downstairs, heard me writing a song and said, "Dad, that sounds so depressing, it should be called Birds of Hell." And I just decided to go for that. I was feeling quite angry at the time. I think I'd gone to see a lot of acts where it was just a guy with a guitar playing songs. At the time I was really bored with it. And all I had at that time when I started was some songs on an acoustic guitar, just me. And so I thought, right, well, what can I do about this? So I started off by not just going out as Pete Murdoch. I'm into lots of different styles, and so that tends to be what comes out in my music. Lyrically, it's quite personal stuff about my family. I feel like I can't do anything else really apart from just do what I'm interested in, and hopefully that comes across with its own sort of heart and soul. So the makeup, it's another facet of playing live. You know, of course people don't have to wear weird makeup when they play, but you know what you do with what you wear and what you do with your face or whatever, it's like an opportunity. And you know, I wanted to stand out a bit more, and I guess I wanted to put some face paint on, but then play some music that, you know, didn't necessarily go with that. Entertainment sounds like frivolous or like shallow, but of course entertainment can be so, you know, you think of the most powerful films, or, you know, you think about the most brilliant comedians, and, you know, it's entertainment, but there's a lot more to it. I'm making my roller skating video. Yeah, so that's for a single, so that'll be coming out, a double A side actually. But the reason we've decided to do a roller skating video is purely because of the song, and the song isn't even about roller skating. It was about the movement of the song, the tempo of the song, the feel of the song, and it was just, I just imagined people roller skating to it. I'm just frightened of going down really hard on some serious concrete. I have 2 children. Many of my friends have children, and we try to find music for our children to listen to. And there is music out there that's good, but most of it's rubbish. So I wrote one called Fart in a Bath, and I can tell some parents are a little bit like, well, I'm not sure about that. But most parents, they love it, absolutely love it. And then you play it to a 4-year-old, and they're like, someone understands me. You know what I mean? It's the most beautiful look on their face, you know, especially little boys. Fart in the bath, brilliant. yeah, absolutely. I do feel it's important to entertain. Yeah, I think anyone who doesn't feel it's important to entertain, if they're in popular music playing gigs, I think maybe they should do something else.
There we go. And if anybody does know Pete, you will know that any of the projects that he does undertake are particularly special, so please keep an eye out for them. Something else that's particularly special is our first guests of this evening, ladies and gentlemen, his best friends. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for coming on the show this evening. First of all, you guys are coming over tonight to play from Sheffield. Tell us a little bit about Sheffield, because it's such a hotbed of indie music and has been for years. Is there something very special about that city?
Yeah, I'd say so. All the buildings are really cheap because the steel industry got messed up. So you can, you can rent studios for real cheap and make music.
Yeah, there's a lot of young bands as well trying to sort of break away from the history of like the Arctic Monkeys and all that kind of stuff, which is obviously really good, but there's also a lot of people who want to try and do something different, so it's quite a good place for being creative.
You've been doing that since 2011. I think that's when you guys formed, wasn't it? We've just recently had the debut album, Hot Reckless, Totally Insane. Got brilliant write-ups in the NME. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was cool.
It's really nice for people to say nice things about it.
It took a long time to sort of get out and everything. We've been working on it for quite a long time, so it was nice to finally get it out so people can hear it, and yeah, it did well, which is nice.
Okay, I think for the people at home, we're going to watch a quick clip of Cold Shapes, which came out in July. Of course, we're joined by two of you this evening. There is another two in the band as well. How does the songwriting work for Best Friends? Does somebody come with a fully formed idea, or are you guys, you've been at it since 2011, you play every day, every weekend in a rehearsal studio till you come up with a finished item? Well, how does it happen?
It's normally one person will have half an idea, like a riff or some chords or something, and then we'll all add our own bits to it. So there's not one main songwriter or anything. It's collaboration.
Team effort.
Yeah.
Is it important that it's like that, rather than one person maybe dictating how things go?
Called Best Friends.
Were you guys friends before you started?
Yeah. Well, me and Tom are actually from around here. And,
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Used to come to shows in Norwich, and that's how we kind of met originally, wasn't it? Before we went to uni, because we had some friends that played in bands here.
Okay.
And then we went to Sheffield and met Ed, and we had another drummer before Johnny, Jack. We met him. He went travelling, and Johnny tagged Johnny in. But yeah, it's just fun, isn't it? That's why you're in a band, because it's fun.
It should be.
I don't really understand how you can really take it that seriously, to be honest.
We talk about you've come from Norwich then originally. What do you remember about the scene? And what bands did you come and see here in Norwich that then inspired you to go and set it up in Sheffield?
There's a really good old local band called Cold Hands.
We ripped off one of their songs called Shapes, and that's where Cold Shapes came from, basically. So yeah.
I remember them. They were a great band. Seen them at the Marquee many times. Guys, we've run out of time for this interview, but thank you so much for joining us. It's a real pleasure. Good luck with your show at the festival. Thank you very much indeed. Now, Norwich Sound and Vision is all about bringing young people to the music industry, and there's another set of promoters in Norwich that know all about that. This is what happened when we caught up with Sonic Youths.
Sonic Youths was a project that my ex-colleague Lydia and I set up because we were asked to do something on a Saturday lunchtime. We came up with some ideas, and we decided the best thing was to get some young people involved in music. We began Sonic Youths in August 2014, and it's just getting bigger and bigger, which is great.
I wanted to be a part of Sonic Youths because it just seemed like such an attractive little group, little organisation. I really like the idea of it, and thought, that would be an interesting thing to be part of. I want to get involved with that.
Doing the Sonic Youth Showcase was more just we wanted to gig, but I think what we learnt afterwards is it's a really good place to sort of meet other people.
We have had other things offered to us from Sonic Youth that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So
I got to be a part of Sonic Youth because they just are really good at promoting your music and getting you networking with other musicians.
Who is everybody going to be listening to in 5 or 10 years' time? Don't know. They could be from Norwich. There's some amazing talent out there, and it's really important that local venues and promoters support the young musicians that are around.
You definitely need encouragement when going out on stage, and people encouraging you to do things and pushing you in the right direction. I think every young musician needs that, because it's not necessarily a natural thing to do. I mean, standing in front of maybe your first gigs might be 30, 40 people, it's not a natural thing to do, and I definitely think that young people should be encouraged at an earlier age to do so. I mean, it can be a scary, nerve-wracking thing at first, but it's a very self-rewarding thing also.
I played at a showcase before the summer, and there was a band there, and they were really good, and I met the guys, and they it was sort of like a really good chance to like chat music with other people my age who were trying to get into the industry. So that was really good, and just getting people to hear you and having like people, like a team of people behind you who are supporting you is really good.
We've never really had any prejudice about our age, and if anything, we have quite a good way to get out there as a small band because there's loads of showcases for 16 to 19-year-olds, like Sonic Youth.
The more gigs you do, the better the live performances are, the more enjoyable they are for yourself and the more enjoyable they are for people watching.
I think the future looks good for us.
I have a few gigs lined up, some in London, some in Norwich. I'm supporting someone at the Birdcage in 2 weeks' time. So yeah, just recording more music and gigging more.
I think it's very difficult for young people trying to break into music because I think certain talent contest type programs give them unreal expectations about what they can achieve and how they're treated. Get it back to grassroots, go through the system, send a demo, play at your local venues, build up a following, go out on the road and, you know, live the dream, but do it properly.
It is great to see so many young people involved in music, and if you at home want to get in touch with Sonic Youth, please do so on Twitter and on Facebook. Now, I'm going to limber up because we are dashing to the Octagon Chapel for part 2 to speak with Adrian Cook and to speak with the brilliant Mammal Hands. Don't touch those digits. We'll be back right after the break.
We've all come together to celebrate. We got a show to give and we can't wait. It's all about that sound and vision, yeah.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of this very special music mash from right here at Norwich Sound and Vision. We have just dashed down St Benedict Street, taken a left, nipped past the Playhouse, and we are here at the beautiful Octagon Chapel. Coming up in the rest of the show, we'll be talking to travelling band Crushed Beaks, and we'll also be speaking to local boys, Mammal Hands. But before we do all that, let's talk to somebody very, very important to the Norwich Sound and Vision 2015 Festival. It's Festival Director Adrian Cook.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you for letting us crash into this evening.
Well, you're very welcome.
Because I know the performance, we're not very far away from the actual performance this evening, are
we?
we?
We're about to kick off in here tonight, yes,
so
absolutely.
thank you very much for that. Tell us though a little bit about Sound and Vision. How did you first start?
This is our 6th year now, and I think when we started in 2010, we just felt that there was a gap in the market really, and there was something that Norwich could offer that was quite special in terms of an experience, somewhere to discover new bands, new artists, film as well as music as well. And also that it's something that would really energise the city in terms of its own sort of creative community. And that's definitely happened over the years that we've built it. And it's become one of the events to go to on the kind of industry map, which is fantastic. You know.
I have already mentioned in the show, in fact, those very events, these sort of industry showcases seem to be popping up all over the place now. Did you base yourself on any one event, or did you pick things like South by Southwest or the Great Escape in Brighton?
Yeah, well, we get involved in some capacity in all of those events. In fact, we've done showcases at those things as well, and obviously South by Southwest is the kind of mother of all of these things. But the ethic is the same, you know. It's about discovery, it's about sharing ideas, people meeting each other, having a lovely time in somewhere they probably wouldn't normally go to. And then what does happen here is that there's a legacy that's left, which is that there's lots of musicians and artists that are in part of our community, part of our industry here, that get a lot from the festival and the conference and go on to do some amazing things.
What's special for this year's festival? If people are going to come this weekend, what can they expect?
Well, I mean, there's a kind of internal and external thing. For us ourselves, it's the first year that we've run it as an independent organisation. We set up Sound. It used to be quite a messy partnership between lots of people because, you know, it was a crazy idea. Effectively, it was a conversation in a bar that got out of hand when we started Sound and Vision.
Isn't that the root of all the best ideas?
I think it
in the
is.
world?
I think it probably is. But there's a point where you have to then start formalising these things and getting some organisation and some, you know, infrastructure in place. So we actually set up independently this year so that we could do our own fundraising, you know, set out our stall in terms of what we're going to be. So that's exciting for us. In terms of what we're doing with the festival, I think we're doing what we're really good at, which is introducing people to brand new bands, mixing music with visuals. Obviously, that's what's happening here in Nottingham Chapel. There's an amazing night we're going to have here with East Anglian Film Archive, with live musicians. That's a really important part of what we do in terms of the convergence between music and other art forms. So, as we always try to do, your new favourite bands playing now, you might not know it until next year, but they're going to be your new favourite bands. Really lovely time in Norwich, and meet some new people.
But you're right about with the new favourite bands thing. I mean, you had Parma Violets, I think, 2 years ago, playing upstairs in what is now
3 years ago.
3 years ago, and they exploded.
They did. Well, that was.
That gives you great pleasure to be part of that, because you caught them just on the cusp.
Yeah, I mean, I have to give sort of props to Rosie and Jenny, who head up the booking team there, and they're just very good at picking the winners, if you like. I mean, obviously, we go to a lot of the other festivals. We listen to what's going on. We're kind of, we've got our ears to the ground, and particularly those two. And yeah, Parma Violets, I think they were there the week after they'd been on the front cover of The Enemy. The following year, Royal Blood played in the same venue and got signed on the back of that show. We also had George Ezra playing in a small venue that year. And those two artists, 6 months later, have, number 1 and 5 in the UK album charts. I mean, that's what it's about,
And I think we'll see things like that for the artists that are playing here this year. Adrian, that is all we've got time to. I could talk to you for hours because you've got so many great stories.
We'll do it later.
We'll do it later. Thank you so much
No
for joining
worries.
us.
Thank
good
you.
luck with this year's
Thank
event.
you very much. Cheers.
Now, in keeping with the vision element of the festival, let's take a look at some post-punk. It was a movement that polarised British music fans when it emerged in the late 70s and the early 80s, and the BFI put together a brilliant new piece of footage that encapsulates that era. We spoke to BFI before they screened that footage at this year's event.
I think the easiest way to define post-punk is to say it's what came after punk. But I suppose a more systematic way of thinking about it is the difference between Johnny Rotten of the Sex Pistols and John Lydon of Public Image Limited. That's the kind of transition we're dealing with. On the one hand, a group that looks outwards to society, towards a group that looks inwards to a new kind of music, a new kind of aesthetic. I think the politics of post-punk are clearly different to those of punk. I mean, punk was looking, towards the spirit of anarchy, rebellion. Post-punk was less explicitly political in that sense, but it was political in other ways. As I've indicated, it offered new ways of expressing identities, particularly sexual and gender identities, and I think that is where its politics lay, in the politics of the personal rather than the kind of politics with a big P.
The fact that people were making films and videos and not paying any attention to censorship and screening work outside of traditional venues, and often and at this point there were a lot of gay filmmakers and black filmmakers and female filmmakers, and these are people who hadn't, maybe the mainstream industry hadn't welcomed these people a lot in the past. So that just the fact that there were new voices and new spaces to see stuff, I think is in itself political.
Post-punk wise, it all kind of filtered off into different things. Whenever everyone talks about on telly about the 80s, it's always Duran Duran, this endless same people get winched out, Boy George, There was a whole underground thing going on of, Test Department, Skidoo, Throbbing Gristle, who carried on, and then Psychic TV. Lots of, Cabaret Voltaire, electronic music, world music. I mean, the early 80s. I've got, we were into, also picking up on what we'd missed in the 70s, like groups like Can, who were really, really influential, German prog rock, experimental. So people kind of rediscovering stuff that gone on to the radar, I think.
Passed out, felt the carpet on my cheek, I needed help.
Hey, I'm Dan from Ducking Punches.
And I'm Sophie from Ducking Punches.
So, I mean, I think post-punk and punk allows you to include whatever you want it to include. Folk punk has been around for years, so you've got people like Billy Bragg who've been kind of doing it.
I think there's always the possibility to kind of still be a punk band, isn't it? If you have that kind of ideology and kind of mindset, I think you can be whatever punk band, I suppose.
The thing that attracted me to punk rock when I was a kid was that there were no rules, and it wasn't ideology, and it's a way of living, and it's taught me everything that I hold dear to me is from punk rock. All my ethics,
being a vegetarian, like everything has come from punk rock, and it just happens to coincide with music, but that music is so broad now, and I think it's incredible.
I think it's, you know, in some pocket, somewhere, you'll find someone doing something interesting everywhere. You know, you just got to dig deep enough.
If it makes you happy, just like go for it. And I think that like is quite a precious thing.
Now, before you all go reaching for your Joy Division records and start dancing around the living room to Love Will Tear Us Apart, please stay with us. We've got a brilliant Music Mash coming up for you, not least with this interview with these guys. It's Mammal Hands. Guys, hello. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to see you. And thank you very much for joining us so close to your performance, because you'll be playing this evening at the Octagon Chapel. Tell us a little bit about your performance at this weekend's Sound and Vision.
So yeah, we've got a 45-minute set tonight, which is set to a load of archive film footage set in Norwich.
I think technical's a bit of a posh word for the challenges we face, but obviously because of what the kind of music we play is a lot of improvisation, and the songs can kind of stretch. Can increase or decrease in length, so it's kind of, we have to sort of make an educated guess about where we're going to end up after playing certain tracks.
We should probably, if people haven't seen you before, then describe your music a little bit. Contemporary jazz, fusion, some world influences in there, would that be fair to say?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, we have a lot of trouble describing it, to be honest, but it's got elements of a lot of different stuff, going from like jazz as well as like folk music, Indian classical influences, and then minimalist kind of music influences as well, and we just kind of try and mix it all up as much as possible, really. Yeah.
Now, you released Animalia last year, that was your debut album, is that right? To an incredible reaction. I mean, how has that been now playing your music to public that have suddenly heard it before, rather than just wowing audiences when they turn up to a gig and they're not sure what to expect?
It's like doing normal gigs, but you get a bit of a leg up.
Yeah.
Like before you've even started, there are some people that are already into what you do, so it's like luxury. It's like luxury, really, in terms of interacting with the audience and getting a vibe going when you're performing. It just makes everything kind of nicer.
There are plans for a second album. When are you looking for that release?
I think it will be around March next year. But yeah, we've already been recording. We've got about 10 tracks down already, so yeah, it's nearly finished. And yeah, so it'll be next year.
Okay. How important is it as well for you guys to play in Norwich, particularly at a festival like this? Because this is practically your home crowd, isn't it? I know you can't not come quite from Norwich per se, but this is a home crowd for you guys.
Yeah. We always love playing here. We always get a really nice response, and a lot of our friends and family come down as well. And it's always, I think, we've got some of the best reactions ever from live shows in the city, so it's always nice to play here.
Okay. Guys, I know you've got to go and perform, so thank you so much for joining us. That was brilliant. Thank you, and good luck for your performance this weekend. Right, to come in part 3 of the Music Mash, we talk to Crush Beaks, and we'll see a piece about women in music at this year's Sound and Vision. Until then, we've got to get our trainers on, guys, because we've got to get to the Mash Ton. Don't touch those digits. We'll be back right after the break.
The sound that flows comes from your soul. Do you feel it? Feel it? It's all about that sound of vision, yeah.
Hold on. No, it's fine. All right, welcome back to part 3 of the Music Mash. We have made it to our final destination here for this show, which is the Mash Ton, and I'll be shouldering my way to the bar in a minute as the music continues. But first, Norwich Sound and Vision are highlighting women in music this year, and in fact, there are some bills with all-female lineups. Let's take a look at some of the great female acts that are performing at this year's festival.
I feel
like I have faced difficulties pursuing music because of my gender. Because it's always a male sound engineer, or more often than not a male sound engineer, and they always say, oh, you've got to plug it into this thing, and I say like, oh yeah, I've just done the first year of an audio production degree, and they're like, okay. As much as men like to think, no, we treat women equally, there's just not as many women interested in music. That's not the case. I think it's ingrained in women that they should go for other jobs. I think there is a significantly lower number of women in the music industry in more behind the scenes roles, so production roles, managerial roles, and I think it's great that Norwich Town Division have got more women on board to show, be role models, I guess.
In terms of being a female in the music industry and sort of success rates, I would say that it is very male, and sometimes that can work in your favour, that you do actually stand out. I would say that I think you have to work potentially harder than men. You have to really sort of prove yourself. It can be a bit of a boys' club. It is so subtle, kind of sexism in the industry, that it almost gets forgotten, and it does need to be addressed, and it's great a festival like this is addressing it.
I don't think people really distinguish between male and female artists. They distinguish between good artists and bad artists. The issue that is being addressed, certainly by big organisations like Sky and the BBC, is actually women in higher positions, and that's something that there's a lot of concentration on now, and there's some distance to go, but Sky is definitely being very successful there. I've been very fortunate in my time in the companies that I've worked for. The music teams tend to have a larger proportion of women than they do men.
I think for women in the music industry today it is still quite difficult, and judging by the backlash that even famous women get, the amount of hassle and abuse that they have to deal with on an everyday basis is just outrageous, really.
Sometimes when we go and set up, the sound guy will be saying, sort of raising his eyebrows to Ian and kind of going, oh God, they clearly don't know what they're doing, that kind of thing, don't they? And sort of just...
And I know the least out of... I mean, these two literally do all the technical stuff. So.
I think Norwich Sound and Vision is really helpful to women in the music industry because it doesn't focus on one gender, and it's really all-inclusive, and also it's programmed. There's a couple of women who actually do the music programming as well.
Any girls wanting to start out in the music industry, it's just do it, really. Just go for it.
If you want to get into the industry, you need to try a lot of things out and get a lot of work experience, and not be put off by things such as sexism.
If you walk into a room and you are the only woman pursuing a career in the music industry, don't be intimidated by the men. It's your unique selling point.
Wow, there really is so much talent on offer here at Sound and Vision 2015. But of course, it's not just the girls that are represented, it's the boys as well. I have seen a superb sound check from Crush Beaks. Let's go and meet the band right now. And here they are, Crush Beaks, everybody. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, by the way. I know you've been sitting around for a little while, so we had to get over the gremlins with the technical glitches, but we're here now. You're playing tonight. You are on a tour at the moment, though. So first of all, let's take us through how the tour's going so far.
It's going well. It's been a lot of fun. There's been people at all our shows coming out to see us, which has been nice. So, been some places we haven't been before. Okay. Been up to Scotland, played in Glasgow, and where else have we been? Played in Derby last night. Yeah, I haven't been up there before, so Chelmsford. So it's been nice to go to places that we haven't they're a bit more maybe off the beaten track. So it's nice to go and play some different places.
So you've been on tour since the end of August. You are on tour until the end of this month. I mean, does that take it out on you a little bit? Or
we've had a few breaks. In between, so it's not been constant, but it's been really fun. Yeah. It's been cool. Yeah.
It's like every show is kind of a warm up for the next one. I think. Yeah. You don't have to rehearse when it's around so much. So we're used to playing together anyway, so it's nice to play when there's people in front of us and actually listening.
Would it be fair to say you're doing this? It's a little bit of a DIY movement because people should know at home you're driving yourselves around this tour at the moment. No nightliners or two double-decker coaches for you guys yet. Who knows?
These guys tend to drive, and I tend to go by helicopter.
So we've tried out different white vans, and they're not all the same. The one that we've settled with is, we can't say brands really, can we?
We can say brands, but
No,
it's fine.
No.
Yeah, it's a secret. We don't want to know. But what you can know is that we have a name and it's called Barry White Van.
Nice. Okay, so you know exactly it's going to be.
Right.
Right, we should talk about not only the fact that you're playing on tour, but you are touring this particular record, and I do want to show it because it is a wonderful piece of vinyl here. Scatter was released recently, and there is some music on Scatter though that's a little bit older than some of the other tracks. Tell us a little bit about why you chose to put some of the older songs that you've written together with previous members. No disrespect to the drummer here tonight.
Some of them hadn't been, well, Grim is the only one that hadn't been released on vinyl before, so that was just an internet release before, so it's nice to have it on physical release. And Feelers just fit really well.
Show everybody if you can, absolutely.
Yeah, but they're running out, so if you want one, it was a really short run of vinyl, so yeah.
Was it hard to get the record company to produce the vinyl for you? Because I know vinyl's quite expensive and people are all about digital releases now and downloads.
I think a lot of people still like to have the physical thing.
But companies are starting to make hi-fis and laptops that don't even have CD drives in now, so I think it's being forced out of people whether they like it or not. But vinyl is kind of old, it's analog, it's bigger as well. Really tangible.
So you're saying whenever Crush Beats release material, you've got to get it on vinyl, you've got to come and see the shows as well. Hugely energetic guys. That is all we've got time for tonight. But thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with the performance and good luck with the rest of the tour.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Cheers guys. Crush Beats everybody. If you at home ever wonder what it's like to be behind the scenes at one of these festivals, well, our lovely crew have not only been working tirelessly for this show, but they've been across the festival. Should we just give that one last blow? There we go. They've been across the festival. Let's see what they've uncovered.
This year, Paper Plane Productions are covering Norwich Sound and Vision Festival for Mustard TV's show, The Music Mash. This is a brilliant and amazing opportunity for us guys, and we're super excited to get into it.
Had a bit of a rocky road so far. We had one guest that we were super pumped to work with, but they're really busy this week. They're finishing up an album and stuff. So we went for a backup. We were also super excited to work with them, and they are super booked up with the festival this week as well. So we've finally got someone who we think, fingers crossed, is good.
Yep, I've just found out that the bicycle shop has let us use their basement as an area to interview someone. And I'm so happy. It kind of outbreak. Okay. But now I'm doing a very serious risk assessment. Very serious. But yeah. We are on our way to the Norwich Art Centre to do our first rehearsal. Let's hope it goes well, and we will see you there. Hey there. What are we doing right now?
We are currently setting up for our balcony shoot. Trying to work out where all the chairs are going and where the interview is happening. We're setting up cameras.
We're on set, filming. I'm hungry, I'm tired, but I love it.
Wow, great work from the crew there, guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. If you can, hold it together just for another few moments though, please, because sadly it is the end of the show and it is the end of our coverage of Norwich Sound and Vision 2015. I do have to say thank you to everyone involved, the organisers of the events, and of course, the artists and the venues. Until next time on A Music Mash, I'm going to leave you with Vibe playing Come On Now. They've been on point all night. Until next time, laters.
Come on now, sing with me, boy. Come on now. not over you. Just the other day, I saw a boy like you. Ooh, doo doo doo, ooh. He walked my way, but all I thought it was you. Ooh, doo doo doo, ooh. Come on now, sing with me, boy. Come on now, I ain't no toy. You leave me feeling so blue, I'm not over you. You leave